water. In addition to Bellevue, we also provide water service to the Points communities. Bellevue's service area ranges from sea level to about 1,500 feet above sea level. And we have more than 70 different pressure zones and that we manage, and it takes over 600 miles of pressurized pipes, as well as reservoirs and pump stations to deliver water to our customers' homes and businesses. Most of our system was built 30 to 50 years ago, and it's past its midlife. We serve over 260,000 people during the day and over 155,000 at night. The higher daytime population served is due to the commercial and business activity that we have in the city. Our water comes from pristine watersheds in the Cascade Mountains and is some of the best quality and best tasting water in the nation. Our sewer system is made up of pipes and pump stations. We operate 46 pump stations and over 600 miles of sewer pipes that collect and send wastewater to King County's regional system. Our goal is to ensure public health and safety for our community, as well as to protect the environment. As with the water utility, in addition to Bellevue, we serve the Points communities and Bullards. The sewer system relies on gravity for flow. So in addition to the hundreds of miles of pipe we have, our pump stations help carry the sewage to higher levels where gravity doesn't get the job done. And moving to our storm and surface water utility, our service area is only within Bellevue city limits. We protect water quality for over 80 miles of open streams and 800 acres of protected wetlands to support fish and wildlife habitat. We also maintain more than 400 miles of pipes, storm drains, and culverts to control damage from storm events and to protect the environment. This system covers 32 square miles. The storm system is unique in that it's made up of both public and private systems that are interconnected. The city is responsible for all drainage within city streets and public property, and private property owners are generally responsible for the drainage systems on their own property. What this creates is a patchwork of ownership and responsibilities that makes management of this system more complex. Next, I'd like to take a moment to share with you a quick 3-minute video that highlights some of the activities and some of the capital projects that we have been working on to maintain and sustain our utility infrastructure. Next, I'd like to share a little more background about our services and the challenges that we face. Our services are largely invisible to the public and are often out of sight and therefore out of mind unless there's a disruption of service. So success for us is often measured by the absence of failures. You may not be aware of this, but utilities operates as a business within the city structure. And by law, each utility must be managed as a standalone business and have to be financially self-supporting. Utilities does not get any tax revenues. The rates paid by our customers are our primary source of funding. And our revenues do not generally grow very much without rate increases. With ongoing conservation and more water efficient appliances, and population growth really does not translate to meaningful revenue growth for us. And as you've already gathered, utilities is a very capital intensive industry with lots of infrastructure to maintain. Our services are not scalable. We have to stand by to deliver services to all areas and all customers on demand. So our systems have to be sized to meet peak demands levels, even though we may only have peak levels for just a few days in the summer. So for example, this is when we have extraordinarily hot days when drinking water demand may peak, or when there's a heavy, intense rain event that may pose flooding risks to our storm system. We have a very long range planning horizon because we provide essential services that the community relies on. And in terms of challenges, utilities has a number of key challenges. One, about half of our budget is to pay for non-discretionary external costs. And this includes water supply from Cascade, as well as wastewater treatment from King County. We own and operate over $10 billion worth of infrastructure that is aging. And so maintaining and rehabilitating this infrastructure is a key challenge. Also, utilities is a highly regulated industry, and the cost to comply with regulations is a key budget challenge for us. And Bellevue has experienced unprecedented growth and development. And so we need to make sure that our utility infrastructure is in place to support the city's economic prosperity and population growth. And like everyone, we are also impacted by extraordinary inflation as well as affordability considerations. And next, Don McWilliams, our operations and maintenance manager, will discuss how we take care of our utility infrastructure.
Thank you, Lucy. Without regular investments, our pipes and natural systems will fail. Water main breaks, sewer overflows, and stormwater flooding events often occur without warning. Consequences of system failures are disruptions to our customers, potential damages to homes and businesses, risk to the public health, and damage to the environment. Our operation and maintenance staff respond to these events by fixing water main breaks and service line leaks. Crews clear sewer blockages within the city-owned infrastructure and respond to flooding events as they occur. Maintenance staff are available 24/7 to perform this work so that we can mitigate the issue and get our customers back in service. While reactive emergency response gets the headlines, our goal is to minimize the number of these types of failures through a strong asset management program that emphasizes preventative maintenance and condition assessment activities. Preventative maintenance activities include exercising and inspecting fire hydrants and valves to ensure hydrants work when called on, cleaning sewer mains to minimize blockages, and inspecting cleaning the stormwater system to ensure it is functioning as designed. Corrective maintenance activities include repairing known defects within our sewer and stormwater system before they become bigger problems, while preventative maintenance activities work to ensure system reliability to keep the systems up and running. Our condition assessment program uses digital video cameras to view and assess the inside of our sewer and stormwater pipes to identify defects that could lead to structural failure and result in blockages. Undetected pipe defects often lead to sewer blockages and overflow, which impact homes, businesses, and the environment. These types of defects can also result in flooding from storms, again impacting our roadways and customer properties. We work to coordinate repairs with other city activities, such as our transportation pavement overlay program. This saves money and lessens customer impacts through coordination across department. And our asset management program uses the video information from the condition assessment to inform our capital investment program and works to optimize our maintenance intervals. As it relates to our utility system operations, Bellevue is a city built on hills that range in elevation from Lake Washington to the top of Cougar Mountain. With that topography comes operational challenges that drive how we operate the water and wastewater systems in the following areas. Our water pump station, reservoir, and pressure regulating valve, or PRV programs, maintain and operate the city's water reservoirs, pump stations, and our pressure regulating valves. The south end of Bellevue, Somerset, and the Cougar Mountain area rise to 1,500 feet elevation on the top of Cougar Mountain. This adds complexity to operation of the water system for reliable delivery of water to our customers with acceptable water pressures throughout the city to all of our pressure zones. Well-maintained pumps and PRVs are critical to making sure we have adequate and reliable water supply for firefighting and within our homes. And in addition, water reservoirs are cleaned every 5 years to ensure the safe drinking water. On the wastewater pump station, similar to water, wastewater operations provides regular maintenance to the city's wastewater pump stations to ensure continual operation and minimize wastewater overflow. Occasionally, our pumps will fail and need to be taken out of service. Because of this, all of our pump stations have multiple pumps for redundancy. And I want to note that most of the wastewater pump stations are located next to the shorelines of Lake Washington and Lake Sammamish. This proximity heightens environmental concerns for any failures or overflows into our lakes. The telemetry and security systems involve the maintenance, operation, and repair of utilities telemetry system. This important system allows us to control and monitor and measure information such as reservoir levels, water pressure and flows, sewage pump station levels from supervisory control, and data acquisition or SCADA system. When we think of operating these systems, this is how we ensure we know what's happening at our pump stations and reservoirs and we can make adjustments when needed. A good example of operational adjustment would be firefighting operations to ensure Bellevue Fire has adequate water supply to perform their work. Most of this is done automatically using our SCADA logic programming, but when something unusual happens, we have experienced operators to monitor and make needed changes. All of these programs require well-trained and competent staff. Many of our staff are certified, and we have ongoing training to ensure that we operate all of our systems in a safe and effective way, which leads us to the next slide on regulatory requirements. So Bellevue's drinking water is regulated under the Federal Safe Drinking Water Act, along with the Washington State Department of Health. Major areas of that regulation include our annual drinking water quality report, which is published this past June. And this report contains information on how we monitor, protect, and test to ensure the safety of our drinking water. Coliform monitoring is a program done to protect the health of the public, and we conduct about 150 routine coliform bacteria samplings per month throughout the service area to ensure acceptable bacteriological quality. We do lead and copper monitoring to assure effective corrosion control, as well as PFAS monitoring performed under our unregulated contaminant monitoring rule. Bellevue's drinking water is safe and meets all federal and state drinking water standards. The Bellevue surface water compliance lies within our National Pollution Discharge Elimination System, or NPDES permit. This is a requirement of the Federal Clean Water Act with oversight by Washington State Department of Ecology. It requires municipalities to implement a citywide stormwater management program to protect the water quality of our lakes, streams, and wetlands by minimizing pollutant discharge from the city's stormwater system. Next, I'm going to turn it over to Linda DeBolt, who's going to speak with you about capital investment.
The proposed 2025 through 2030 CIP budget is $296 million. This slide shows the proposed 6-year budget broken down into 5 key investment areas. The city's utility infrastructure is aging, and so the need for capital investments is growing. We continue to invest about 80% of the capital budget for renewal and replacement of aging water, sewer, and stormwater infrastructure. Our asset management program helps to prioritize infrastructure replacements at the optimal time, not too soon and not too late. The goal is to minimize costs and maintain service delivery to the community. We have also included funding for capital projects to preserve and protect the natural environment of Bellevue's aquatic resources. In addition, our CIP includes utility projects to accommodate Bellevue's growth, to address emergency water supply needs in the event of an earthquake, and to realize operational efficiencies for our utility work. Our proposed CIP consists of 3 utility funds, water, sewer, and stormwater, with 33 separate programs within these funds and many projects within these programs. The water utility has the most investment, with 64% of the proposed capital budget. The Water Main Replacement Program is the largest program within the water utility. Through this program, we replace aging water pipes that have reached their useful life. The goal of our Water Main Replacement Program is to replace about 5 miles of pipe per year. At this rate, it will take over 100 years to replace our entire pipe system. Next, the Sewer Utility CIP funds projects to replace or rehabilitate aging pump stations and sewer pipes to ensure that wastewater is collected and conveyed to King County's regional treatment plants. These projects improve system reliability, meet safety and regulatory requirements, and reduce the risk of system failure, thereby keeping sewer infrastructure running efficiently. The Storm and Surface Water Utility CIP includes projects that prevent the stormwater flooding, improve stream health, and preserve and protect the natural environment. Next, I would like to turn this over to our next presenter.
Thank you, Linda. As we discussed, our only source of funding is the rates you pay. We go through a very rigorous process every 2 years to determine our budgets and rates. What I can tell you is that the rates are not decided in isolation. It's a careful process with many levels of scrutiny and input. It begins with the utilities leadership team providing the first layer of review, and fiscal stewardship is very important to our team. We understand that we run a monopoly. If you live in Bellevue, you don't have a choice of getting utility services elsewhere. It's our job to make sure every financial decision we make is the best use of customer rates. Utilities budget and rates are also reviewed in detail by the Environmental Services Commission. The commission is a 7-member citizen advisory committee appointed by the council. Over the last few months, the commission reviewed the budget in detail over 9 meetings. The commission's role is to provide a recommendation to the city council on whether the budget and rates should be approved. They hold a public hearing and gather comments before making a formal recommendation to council. Utilities is unique in being the only department in the city whose budgets, both operating and capital, are reviewed by such a commission. The budget and rates are also reviewed by the city manager before she decides what to forward to city council for consideration. And finally, after this rigorous process, the budget is presented to council for their review before adoption by the council. Utilities budget is based on policies adopted by council and is designed to accomplish a number of goals. These policies are critical to ensure we continue to provide sustainable utility services for generations to come. The budget provides predictable rates, and for this reason, we forecast rates over 75 years, which is the average lifespan of our system assets. Wholesale costs from regional providers are passed through, so these costs do not hamper our ability to deliver services to Bellevue customers. We set rates to fund the full cost of providing utility services now and in the future. We also maintain adequate operating reserves. This is important so we don't have to come back for a rate increase in the middle of the year if we have adverse weather or economic conditions which impact our revenues. And we invest in utility infrastructure, whether that's putting money in the ground now or putting aside money to take care of future needs. As utility systems age, many agencies across the country will have to do double-digit rate increases to pay for infrastructure investments. This will not happen in Bellevue because we are one of a few cities in the nation that is putting money aside for infrastructure renewal and replacement. One thing you'll notice about Bellevue Utilities is that we really focus on long-term planning, so you can rest assured that you have reliable, high-quality services always. The total operating budget is about $432 million for our 4 lines of business for the next 2 years. And let's take a look at where your money goes as a customer of Bellevue Utilities. For every dollar that you pay, 49 cents goes to pay for external costs, or what we have to pay to others. This includes payments to Cascade Water Alliance for water supply and King County for wastewater treatment, as well as city and state taxes and payments to the city for other services such as rent and IT. We don't control these costs and have no choice in paying them. The second biggest expense for the utilities is investments in taking care of our system infrastructure. This makes up about 33 cents of every dollar you pay. And the smallest portion, 18 cents of every dollar you pay, is for local operational activities that go into maintaining our utility systems and delivering services to the community. This next slide shows you the impact of our proposed budget on the average residential utility bill. Our current typical residential bill for water, sewer, and stormwater services is $222.82 per month in 2024. The costs we must pay to others, listed here as external costs, will add $9.60 to the customer bill in 2025. Investments in our capital infrastructure will add $4.23 to the typical bill, and funding our local operations will add $2.75 to the typical bill. The bottom line is this: we have worked hard to control rate increases where we can, absorbing inflationary costs to the extent possible, and external costs and investments in infrastructure are the primary rate drivers. This next chart compares Bellevue's monthly rates with our neighbors in the region for water, sewer, and storm services. Our neighbors' rates are shown at 2024 levels, and as you can see, Bellevue's rates are competitive. We're right in the middle of the pack. Looking forward, we expect our rates to be even more competitive in the future because of our long-range capital investment strategy. And next, I'll hand it off to Matt Thurber, Assistant Director, to describe the programs to support residents with financial need.
Thank you, Scott. We offer ongoing utility rate relief programs to serve our low-income seniors and permanently disabled residents. We are very mindful of members in our community who may be disadvantaged, who may be in a disadvantaged financial position, and utility bills may be a hardship. We have several programs to help these customers. Those are ongoing utility rate relief programs to serve our low-income seniors and permanently disabled residents. This program provides a 70% discount to customers who receive a bill directly from Bellevue Utilities and a 70% rebate to customers of multifamily housing who receive utility bills indirectly from Bellevue Utilities. We have the Emergency Assistance Program that provides bill relief for customers facing financial shock. This program waives up to 4 months of basic utility bills for qualified customers. A tax relief program is also available to provide a utility tax rebate to low-income households regardless of age or physical ability. Utilities administers this program paid by the general fund. Our newest program that we implemented a few years ago is the Neighbors Helping Neighbors program, which waives up to 2 months of basic utility bills to households that are past due on their utility bills and are at risk of having their water shut off. This program is funded by donations from the community. To encourage donations, Utilities matches donations up to $50,000 per year. Almost 1,000 households take advantage of these programs. We spend over $1 million per year to help these customers. So if you know someone who may need these services, please help us get the word out. Our goal is to be a well-managed, high-performing utility. To that end, we use several metrics to gauge if we are doing a good job for you. Top of mind is how our customers feel about our services. We consistently rank high among customers in customer satisfaction surveys. Our rates are very competitive with our neighbors. Each of the utilities is a standalone business and must be financially sustainable both in the short term and long term. I want to assure you Bellevue Utilities is in a solid financial position. We have no debt locally, and we are one of very few utilities with a long-term infrastructure funding strategy where we put money aside for future system needs. We are also recognized as a leader in the industry by our peers. We are a nationally accredited agency. Bellevue was the first utility in Washington to be accredited and has been continuously accredited since 2004. To sum it up, we want to make sure we deliver good value for your dollar. As an example, how many of us have bought a bottle of water at the grocery store? For the price of 1 bottle of water you can buy from the grocery store, we deliver 80 gallons of mountain fresh water to your home. That translates to a little over 1 penny per gallon. It's a pretty good deal, right? This concludes our presentation. At this time, we are happy to answer any questions that you may have.